Morning to everyone. Today our topic is somatosensory system. It is an easiest and important topic. What this topic covers? This topic, somatosensory system, covers how all the sensations, sensory information reaches and preserve in the brain. And I will tell you how all the sensations, sensory information reaches and preserve in the brain. So first you want to know what is sensation. Sensation which include pain, temperature, crude touch, fine touch, tactile localization, discrimination, stereognosis, vibration, and the special sense like olfaction, audition, taste, and visual. These are the sensation. This sensations, sensory information is carried by the afferent nerve and reaches and preserve in the brain. So this much will cover in this topic. I can explain in the another form. In human, there are two types of nervous system. One is sensory division and another one is motor division. All the sensory division of the nervous system carries sensory information from the environment. That means outside the body or inside the body. Which reaches, that sensory information reaches and preserves in the brain. That we are going to study in the somatosensory system. Okay. For example, if any mosquito bites, that pain sensation will be activated from the periphery. The pain sensation is carried by the afferent nerve and reaches the brain. In the brain, the processing will be take place. That processing means what will be bite, or whether the sensation is pleasant or unpleasant, or how to remove the pain sensation from your body. That will be processed in the brain. Then that motor information through the afferent nerve reaches the efferent organ. That will be studied in the heading somato-motor system. Now we are going to study about somatosensory system, only the sensation from the periphery, how the sensation from the periphery reaches the brain, that we are going to study today.
What is somato? Somato means body. Sensory or sensation means refers to conscious perception of sensory information reaching the brain. For example, brain pain and temperature. There are two types of sensation. One is special sense, another one is somesthetic sense. In special sense, we all know what are which include visual, auditory, taste, olfaction. Somesthetic sense, we'll classify it as three: exteroceptic, visceral, proprioceptic, and kinesthetic. Exteroceptic means what? Exteroceptic sensation means it is a cutaneous sensation. That means this sensation is mostly arises from the surface of the body. For example, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, fine touch, pressure, vibration, pain, temperature. These are the things mostly arises from the surface of the body, where the receptors are also present in the cutaneously. Then visceral sensation. Visceral sensation means here the sensation arises from the viscera. That means all the internal organs. So from all the internal organs, the sensation will be arises by visceral sensation. Then third one is proprioceptic and kinesthetic sensation. Here this sensation is arises from the muscle, tendon and joints. It's again classified into proprioceptic sensation and kinesthetic sensation. Proprioceptic sensation means it denotes the physical state of the body. For example, posture, sitting, standing. These are the physical state. There is no movement. Whereas in kinesthetic, rate of movement of the body. For example, he is walking, he is swimming. So there is a movement is there. In that we have conscious and unconscious. So that's all about the type of sensation. To better understand this topic, we have to know about reflex activity. What is reflex activity? It's a mechanism by which sensory impulse is automatically converted into motor impulse by central nervous system and spinal cord. How this reflex activity achieve this process? Mostly this reflex activity achieve this process by the components of reflex arc. So what are the components of reflex arc? So these are the things we will see one by one. The first component is receptor. The second one is afferent nerve or sensory neuron. Third is brain and spinal cord, which act as the center. There only the processing will be take place. Fourth one is efferent nerve or motor neuron. Fifth one is effector organ. So by these components, the reflex activity is completely done. We will see some example for reflex. We will see only one example for reflex activity. This is the example for reflex activity diagram. See here, this is the first. We'll start with stimulus. So what stimulus is this? It's look like a sharp object. So if the sharp object is prick your finger, surely you know that the pain will be produced. How this pain will be produced? If a sharp object prick your finger or prick your skin, under the skin we have the cutaneous receptor. The pain receptor name is pain receptor of free nerve endings or nociceptive receptor. This receptor is automatically activated and send sensory pain sensation to the afferent nerve. This we call it as afferent. This blue color is afferent nerve. That means from the periphery, from the receptor through the spinal cord, it reaches the brain. So this afferent nerve or sensory neuron that carry the pain sensation and reaches the brain. So in the brain, the processing will be take place. What stimulus is that? What is the length of the stimulus? How the intensity of the stimulus? Whether the stimulus is pleasant or unpleasant, what you want to do it. This process will be take place in the brain and spinal cord in a fraction of second. So once the processing, after the processing over, that motor impulse is carried by the efferent nerve. This is the efferent nerve. See here, from the brain it reaches the effector organ. This is the efferent nerve or motor neuron. This carry motor information and reaches the effector organ. Mostly if it is a pain stimulus, the effector organ mostly the limb or hand. So with the help of the hand we will remove the stimulus, sharp object from the body. So this, with the help of this component, completely the reflex activity got over with the help of this component of the reflex arc. Here we have to concentrate on two things. One is sensory impulses carried and also motor impulses carried. So that will be studied in two heading: ascending tract and descending tract. Ascending tract means the sensation, the sensory sensation carried from the periphery to the center. That will be studied with in the topic ascending tract. Descending tract means this tract carries the motor information from the brain to the effector organ or to the periphery. That we will study in the descending tract. So today we have to going to see about ascending tract, not the ascending tract. So in the upcoming classes we will see about descending tract. Descending tract is otherwise called as corticospinal tract. So today we will going to see about ascending tract. Before you going to see about ascending tract, first we'll see about the receptor. What is receptor? What are the types of receptors? Briefly we'll see about receptor. Receptor is a sensory receptor or specialized cell that present all over the body that receives stimulus from the external or internal environment and transduce this signal into neuronal signal. See this flow chart, you can understand clearly. Stimulus. The stimulus mostly comes from the environment, internal environment or external environment. If the stimulus is highly intensified, then only the receptor get activated. If the intensity is very low, if the stimulus intensity is very low, then the receptor won't get activated. The response doesn't take place. So if the stimulus should be highly intensified, then the receptor is activated and that receptor gives sensory signal or neuronal signal through the sensory division of the nervous system. It reaches the brain, the processing take place and the response will be take place. The corresponding stimulus, the corresponding response will be take place. Depend upon the stimulus, the response will be take place. So that is the function of receptor. How will you classify the receptor? The receptors are classified in three forms. One is receptor present in the cutaneous sensation, receptor for cutaneous sensation, receptor for proprioception and kinesthetic, receptor for visceral sensation. So first we'll see about receptor for cutaneous sensation. Here this is a old classification. I will mention some cutaneous receptor with its function. For example, if the receptor is Pacinian corpuscles, that will be activated for pressure, PP, Pacinian corpuscles, pressure. Then the receptor for touch, for the sensation of touch, two receptor is present. One is Merkel's disc, another one Meissner's corpuscles. Okay, then fourth one is Ruffinus end organ. Ruffinus, the starting letter is R, so Rajasthan is always hot, so warm temperature. Fifth one is Crosses, Krauses, Crosses, K, Kashmir is always cold, so cold temperature. Free nerve endings is otherwise called as nociceptive receptor. It will be carry the sensation of pain. So these are the cutaneous receptors with its function. Then we'll see the second classification, receptor for proprioception and kinesthetic. We already saw about proprioception, what is proprioception and kinesthetic. So that receptor is mostly present in the muscle and tendons. For example, if in the muscle the receptor present, we call it as muscle spindle. Okay, so the muscle spindle is the receptor that present in the muscle, which helpful for stretch the muscle. The response is contraction of the muscle. So how the contraction will be take place? With the help of the receptor muscle spindle. Then Golgi tendon organ. Golgi tendon organ is inverse stretch receptor. It will inhibit the contraction of the muscle. If overstretch will be there, the muscle will be tear. So this Golgi tendon organ is present in the tendon that will be inhibit the contraction of muscle. Then vestibular apparatus, it will be present the vestibular receptor, it will be present the vestibular apparatus, helpful for equilibrium of the body. Then the third one is receptor for visceral sensation. This receptor is present in all visceral organs. So that's all about receptor. Now we are going to study about ascending tract. What is ascending tract? This tract carry the sensory information from the periphery to the center. This we called as ascending tract. Today we will see briefly on the important ascending tracts. There are three important ascending tract is there. One is dorsal column, second is spinothalamic tract, third one is spinocerebellar tract. The spinothalamic tract is again divided into lateral spinothalamic tract and anterior spinothalamic tract. Spinocerebellar tract is again divided into ventral spinocerebellar tract, dorsal spinocerebellar tract. We'll see some functions. We'll see what tract carries what particular function. Okay, particular tract carries particular function only. For example, lateral spinothalamic tract always carry pain and temperature. If you feel pain and temperature, then the lateral spinothalamic tract only carries this sensation. So lateral spinothalamic tract, spino means spinal cord, thalamic means thalamus. So this tract starts with the spinal cord and end in the thalamus. So we call it a spinothalamic tract. Spinocerebellar means the tract starts with the spinal cord and end in the cerebellum. That's why we call it a spinocerebellar tract. Okay, so this spinothalamic tract are two type. Lateral spinothalamic tract function is it carries pain and temperature, whereas anterior spinothalamic tract carries crude touch and pressure. Whereas the spinocerebellar tract has ventral and dorsal spinocerebellar tract. Both this tract carries the same function, subconscious kinesthetic sensation. Kinesthetic, movement. So subconscious kinesthetic sensation is carried by spinocerebellar tract. Okay, so this two tract we'll see later in the classes. Later means in the next classes we'll see the spinothalamic and spinocerebellar tract. Today we are going to see only about dorsal column. So what is the important function of dorsal column? The remaining function. What is the remaining function is there? Fine touch, vibration, stereognosis, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, 2-point discrimination. All this sensation is carried by the dorsal column. We'll see in explanatory manner in the following session. Okay. So to understand this ascending tract, okay, so to understand this process, we have to know what is the first order, second order, third order. So that means the ascending tract doesn't carry the sensation, pain sensation or temperature, anything directly. It does not reaches into the brain. Step by step it goes and reaches the brain. For example, the first order neuron takes the sensation from the receptor to the spinal cord or brainstem. Okay, so the second order neuron present either in the brainstem or spinal cord, that takes the sensation and reaches the third order neuron. The third order neuron mostly present in the thalamus. From the thalamus it reaches the center. Like this, step by step the sensation will be taken up. It's not taken up directly by a single nerve. It will be taken up by order. First order neuron, second order neuron, third order neuron. First we'll see where the first order neuron present. See here, this is the first order neuron. So primary afferent neuron that receive the signal from the receptor and carry them to spinal cord and brainstem. Okay, it's very simple. See this diagram, you can understand. Okay, so this is the spinal cord. So this structure is the spinal cord. You already know that this is the spinal cord. We'll see detail about the spinal cord also. So this is the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, this is the posterior nerve root ganglia. So ganglia, a group of neuron that present outside the brain, we call it as ganglia. Here we have posterior nerve root ganglia. Here one cell is present or neuron is present. Unipolar neuron. Okay, so this is the cell body of unipolar neuron. This is the dendrite. See, this dendrite come and synapses with the receptor. So receptor, either it will be present in the cutaneously, or it is present visceral, or it is present proprioceptic muscle or tendon or joint, either it will. So this dendrite of the neuron, first order neuron, the dendrite, this is the first order neuron, this is the dendrite of the first order neuron. So the dendrite of the first order neuron synapses with the receptor. So the axon of the first order neuron enter into the spinal cord. Either it enter into the spinal cord, or it through the spinal, without synapses with the spinal cord, sometimes it goes to the brainstem. Depend upon the tract, we will study later. Okay. So what you have to understand the first order neuron? The first order neuron is the first order neuron is the posterior nerve root ganglion or dorsal root ganglion. Posterior nerve root ganglion is the first order neuron. Posterior nerve root ganglion. In that ganglion, you have unipolar cell is present. That unipolar cell have the dendrite and axon. Dendrite synapses with the receptor. Axon enter into the spinal cord or brainstem. This thing you want to know about first order neuron. So for example, if any stimulus that will stimulate the receptor, automatically what happen? Sensory information take place. That sensory information carried by the dendrite, it reaches the cell body, then by the axon it taken up and it goes to the spinal cord, either spinal cord or brainstem. That's the role of first order neuron. Okay, this is the second order neuron. Before going to the second order neuron, we have to know about the structure of spinal cord. Then only you can understand better, understand the topic better. Okay, this is the spinal cord structure. Okay, this is the outer white matter, and the inside it is a gray matter. Okay, see the gray matter, it's look like horns. Okay, so this one is the posterior horn. Always the posterior will be present in the upper part. This is the lateral part of the spinal cord. This is the anterior part of the spinal cord. Okay, and this is the posterior horn. This is the posterior horn. This is the lateral horn of the spinal cord, and this is the anterior horn of the spinal cord. In the gray, we have some nucleus is present. The 4 nucleus is present in the posterior horn. This posterior horn is always responsible for sensory part. All the sensory tract, means ascending tract, come and synapse here. If it comes and synapse in the spinal cord, it will come to the posterior part and synapses in this nucleus, not to the anterior part. Okay, so all the sensory tract synapses in the spinal cord of the posterior horn, not in the anterior part. Okay, we'll see what are the 4 nucleus present. The first one is marginal nucleus. The second one is substantia gelatinosa of Rolando. This is the substantia gelatinosa of Rolando. Third one is chief sensory cell. This is the chief sensory cell or nucleus proprius. Fourth one is Kleck's column. So in the following classes, you will understand some of the tract for pain pathway. It will be common synapse in this substantia gelatinis of Rolando. The ventral spinothalamic tract, it will be common synapses with the marginal nucleus. Now you can understand, right? So the ascending tract will be synapses in the posterior horn of the nucleus that will act as a second order neuron. But in the anterior also we have some nucleus. The 2 type of nucleus will be present. One is gamma motor neuron, another one is alpha motor neuron. So alpha motor, name itself, the alpha motor neuron. So from the brain, the information, motor information come and given to the alpha motor neuron. This alpha motor neuron give the motor signals to the muscles. Then the muscle contraction will be take place with the help of the alpha motor neuron. Gamma motor neuron has a role in maintenance of muscle tone. We'll study later. Okay, with the help of the cerebellar activity, basal ganglia activity, the gamma motor neuron have the role in maintenance of muscle tone. So here we have lateral horn. In the lateral horn, another neuron is present. What is the nucleus? Is intermediolateral nucleus. This nucleus give rise to sympathetic nerve. We already studied about, you know about sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve. Sympathetic nerve will mainly arises from the spinal cord. We already studied in the mostly from the thoracic and lumbar part of the spinal cord. The sympathetic nerve arises from which part of the spinal cord? In the lateral gray horn. From this nucleus, the sympathetic preganglionic fiber will be arises. Okay, so just we'll go little bit faster and once again, in the posterior horn, 4 nucleus will be present. One is marginal nucleus, substantia gelatinis of Rolando, chief sensory cell, and Kleck's column. Okay. The second is anterior gray horn. Here we have alpha motor neuron, gamma motor neuron. In the lateral gray horn, we have intermediolateral nucleus that give rise to sympathetic, preganglionic of sympathetic nerve. So that's all about the second order neuron. Now this second order neuron,